Hey, it's Travis. Too many camp directors run just on gut feel. Our free Resilient Camp Blueprint Diagnostic is your dashboard for resilience. Take it today at camp.mba/Travis. Again, that's camp.mba/Travis. How can you make the most out of the next 100 days?
This is CampHacker. Come find our show notes and our blog for camp directors and leaders at camphacker.tv.
This episode of the CampHacker podcast is brought to you by UltraCamp. Wouldn't it be refreshing if your registration software gave you more time? With UltraCamp, you can track attendance, manage staff applications, streamline registration, and much more. Get back the time you need to focus on what's really important, camp. Find out more at summercampsoftware.com/camphacker. Crazy Creek Products is proud to support the CampHacker podcast. They've been perfecting the just sit there mentality for campers since 1987. Come see them at the Tri-State and New England ACA shows in March, or call 800-446-3446, or find them online at crazycreek.com.
Hello, Camp Mavericks, and welcome to the CampHacker podcast. My name is Travis Allison from Go Camp Pro. I help camps tell the story of what they do so that parents insist on sending their children to summer camp.
My name is Abigail Stuart. I'm the Director of Operations at Doxazo Ministry. We're a small nonprofit in the Midwest, and one of the things we do is summer camps every summer.
Hi, I'm Ari Polsky, and I am a camp consultant that works in camp marketing, fundraising, and data analysis.
Amazing. I am so grateful to have the two of you back. Thank you. We've got some great reviews and great notes from the past episode that you recorded with me late this fall. And I'm grateful to the two of you for coming back. So welcome. We're going to talk today, thinking about sort of rolling downhill at this point. We're heading into the summer quite quickly. And what do folks need to do? Ari and Abi have been really thoughtful and put together a top 10 list for us. So, Ari, do you mind starting us off? Where do you think we should be going and thinking about for making the most?
Sure. So I think what's really important is, Travis, you started off with saying that making the most of the next 100 days. And we're recording this on February 1st, and February 21 marks 100 days till June 1. Camp's happening. We know it's happening. It's not a surprise. We shouldn't scramble. So let's go through and make our pre-summer checklists so that we're not scrambling and we have enough time to do all the things that we want to do in order to make it happen. And checklists have a lot of things that go with it, planning meetings and shopping lists and schedules. And so it's really thinking through what are all the things that fall under those checklists and under those planning meetings that you have to do.
Perfect. And I love the idea of checklists because it's so good. I think it solves one of those problems that is often sort of a mindset problem in summer camp, is that for a lot of people, sort of summer staff is in and out. And so they don't consider that job actually happens all the time. Like, it happens every year. And being able to hand off checklists and reports and things is such an easy way to keep camp quality high and think about that. So what all do you want to put on a pre-summer checklist, Ari?
I would put on all the things that you know you're going to want supply-wise that you might not need tomorrow, but you need 2 weeks from now, and you will not have the brain space to think about it. So anything that you want throughout the summer, like, get your shopping lists ready, schedule them ahead of time. Don't stress about it later. Let it all just happen on its own by, set it and forget it on the timeline. In terms of shopping, I would think about mass emails, all the emails that you know you're going to have to send. Go look at last year's, update the text that you need, set them and forget them, or drop them into your email system with their template saved, and you can just make your last minute tweaks when you need to.
And I just want to jump in on the planning for mass emails. One of the things that I think is most important is that we acknowledge and accept that camp is complicated. Camp is really hard for parents to pull together because there's a lot of pieces. And I hear a lot of frustrations from camp directors who are like, A, my parents don't read. And B, that they're just not, they're not picking up on the important things that we need them to. And then when I ask for details, it's often like, kid registers, we send out a PDF that's like, here's your parent handbook. This is how you do summer camp. And that's months. Sometimes it's 11 or 12 months before that moment when the kid comes to camp. And it's just too much. We have to acknowledge and accept that parents are very stressed. There's a lot going on for everybody. And so for me, when I'm thinking about mass emails between, late winter and the summer, I want people to be repeating those messages that they need repeated out of that parent handbook and doing it in different media. It's certainly worth looking at parent handbook and saying, what are the top 3 things that we need for these parents to feel successful? Because parents don't like to feel no one does, but parents don't love that feeling of, I don't understand what I need to do for my kid to be safe and for this camp experience to work. So how do we break down those top 3 points? And then how do we review them? And if you're overwhelmed by that, then remember, you get to do this again next year. So take those same things. You've got your top 3 done. You've done it in 3 different media formats, an infographic, a wall of text email and a video. And then keep going down the list. What are the next? So how can we just reinforce those things over and over again? But planning and acknowledging that we get to do over next summer allows us to keep expanding what the library looks like. So I love that.
I think that's the crux of it, Travis, is that we're doing it again next year. Make your notes on what works and what doesn't now, so you have it when you're ready. And another point on the emails is I just like to front load them and put, here's what you need to know from this email right at the top. Put a TLDR. Right. Yes, I know that's young people speak, but parents get it. They know what they need to look for in that email.
To be fair to folks, tell me what TLDR means.
Thank you. Too long, didn't read. It's frequent of Reddit and internet speak for here's the bottom line of whatever this long text wall you're about to read is.
There's the most important piece. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great. Yeah. You've been putting a headline on it. Here are your action items, and everything else is informational. Good. Okay. What's number 2 on our checklist, Abby?
Yeah, so number 2 is illuminating the hidden curriculum, which I need a shout out Camp Stomping Ground to this one for introducing me to the concept. But I loved how you brought up earlier, Travis, about just re-emphasizing over and over to parents, because it's difficult. There are a lot of things we require from parents, and it's so simple to us because we're in it all the time. But parents are not, they're working a job, they're taking care of their kids full time. And so that's kind of a really good example, honestly, of hidden curriculum. Hidden curriculum is anything that is normal or a part of your culture at camp that to you seems super obvious because you're in this culture all the time, but people coming in from the outside might not fully understand that. And so hidden curriculum gets super helpful on the ops side, just because one, it makes you aware of it. Like, what is my camp culture? And when you're aware of your culture, then you can evaluate it. Do I like my camp culture? Do I like the messages we're conveying? And then it just helps really with onboarding new staff. It helps with onboarding campers. Something I love is just the ability of like, okay, I know this might be new. So when kids come into the dining hall first time, what are some signs we could put up? How can we prep counselors how to have those conversations with kids of, when you need to get a salad, you need to take the salad block with you, or things like that. So it's a much easier all the way around on the operations side. And you're putting out way many small fires just because someone just didn't understand something. That's not their fault. It just helps a ton if you're aware of your hidden curriculum and then plan for how are you going to explain it.
No one who's stressed out in a new situation ever said, "Oh my gosh, there's too many signs."
Yeah.
There's too many helpful people.
Yeah. Never.
Like, you cannot overdo that.
Yeah.
I want to pick up on things just because I love individual camps lingo. Talk to me about the salad block.
Okay. So this is a camp I volunteered at when I was in high school, I think. And so they had 2 blocks at each table and they had a salad bar. And to make it not like crazy chaotic, you had to have your salad block when you went up to go get your salad from the salad bar. And that was something that was helpful when that was explained to me. So
it's a great system.
Creating chaos. Yeah.
And what did the blocks look like?
They were just like, these 2x2, maybe wooden blocks. Okay. And I think they were probably painted like the camp colors, but something so basic.
Funny. No, that's great. I love systems. So when I hear about those or hinted at, I was like, I have to know a system. Tell me.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. So think about the hidden curriculum. Number 3, Ari.
planning your information sharing now and deciding what information you need to communicate and how you want to communicate it, both to your staff during orientation week and your camper families during their onboarding, and really thinking about what are the crucial pieces of information they need to know and how are they going to learn it. So you're thinking through, is it going to be in the format of a podcast? Is it going to be in the format of a video, of a text wall? And also during orientation week, am I doing this as a frontal presentation? Is this an active learning situation? Is this a role playing? How are people going to communicate and learn the information that you're trying to transmit onward so that everybody can learn it in the best way possible for their learning styles? And one of the ways that I've seen that play out in some camps is visual schedules, where there is here is the time block.
So good. Yep.
Here is what's happening, like a little pictogram of someone swimming. And here's the next time block. Here's the pictogram of people at baseball field, whatever it is. And that there is a visual schedule beyond just having it written out so that you can see it by reference. And one of my other favorites is a who to contact guide with questions. So you have here's the registrar. Ask me about your camper's application, any questions you have about their forms along the way. I'm the camp nurse. If you have questions about medication or health issues or anything, talk to me. Here's my email. I am the camper care liaison. If your camper has some specific behavioral or social emotional needs that you want to discuss, come talk to me. And creating that clear guideline as to where to get the information that families really need is helpful too.
Brilliant. What else, Abby?
I think documentation is probably a really big thing for us. That would be probably tip number 4 is just to document everything. Your processes of how do you do this it's helpful for, we all have those situations where maybe we need to hand off something to someone and to have it lined out. This is how you do this. This is what it's supposed to look like. If it's a meeting, this is the objective of the meeting. Things like that are so helpful. And then another tool that I really love that's along the documentation side is start, stop, continue. These are things, you can be doing midsummer. It can be a short thing. Maybe you have a journal you bring around camp and you write down, okay, the salad bar, to bring up that example again, that really works. So let's continue doing that. Yeah. Or maybe like people are so confused on this block system. We need to stop doing that and figure out something else. You can do that midsummer. You can do that at the end of summer is a really good time. Not only to do that on programs, I think we're really good at reviewing our programs each year, but also in operations, to go back to parents. So parents were really confused about which health forms had to be turned into who. That might be something we want to evaluate and figure out how can we make it easier to parents to understand this form needs to be in by this date and it goes to this person.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think that I wish that there was someone whose specialty in the camp world was information management, information organization, because so many people have so many different little lists here and there for all of these things. I also think it's worth camps creating a simple Google form that all the staff can bookmark that is the start, stop, and continue form. It's like when you see it, send it. And, there's spaces around where it's safe to pull out a phone and do that, or you can get to a computer to do that then. Because it's hard to organize the information, but you definitely have to have the information to need to organize it. It's got to be actively created. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. You don't want to be relying on your memory for stuff.
Oh, no. In September, October? No.
No.
No. Crazy Creek chairs and products have been perfecting the Just Sit There brand for campers and staff alike since 1987. With new colors in stock for 2022, reach out to Crazy Creek today for summer 2022 season specials. Mention this ad when you email or call in and receive 10% off your entire order and free single color logo on your Crazy Creeks. No tool is more vital at camp than a Crazy Creek chair. Call 1-800-446-3446 or email chill@crazycreek.com to guarantee your chairs for the 2022 season. Did you know Crazy Creeks are given to campers at check-in at over 500 camps in the U.S.? Great camps like Philmont and Kanakuk include the chair in the camper's registration price and package. Add a free logo on the back and your camp name will stay with the campers for life. No one throws away a Crazy Creek. What's next, Ari?
Scheduling. One of the favorite ideas, I actually think I first heard this on a CampHacker podcast, was the So You Want to Be a Supervisor next summer meeting. And the idea that we can already in the current summer be setting us up for success the following summer by telling people this is what is needed of the people who fill the supervisory roles. Here's what we're going to be asking of them. This is what the interview process looks like. Here's what the roles and responsibilities are, everything that they might want to know so that they can make the informed decision about, do I want to apply for one of these jobs, whether it's head of the waterfront or a unit head or running the transportation and logistics of the camp. It could be any of those positions that so you want to take it up to the next level. And I think that's a really important thing to schedule in now so that you don't have to worry about it come summertime and figure out what day are we doing that. Just put it on the calendar. It'll happen on its own. You just have to put it on the calendar now. And then
before you move on, Ari, I want to reiterate, because this sounds like something I would have said at some point in CampHacker's history for sure. What this does is helps people feel noticed. That's my great passion. We're creating summer camp to create situations to feel noticed and appreciated. Mm-hmm. And when you are a young staff member, not even thinking about next summer, the act of being noticed by someone you look up to is so incredibly powerful. That's how we continue to work towards getting more staff to return, is making them feel noticed and appreciated, that we have a vision for them and what they can do. Often it will surprise people what we think they can do, what we know that they can do after years of camp learning. So I appreciate that. I'm sorry, cut you off. I just don't want to lose that. I want to put a little button on that piece.
No, it's great. I think it's a really important component of helping staff feel a part of the community and as invested in it as some of us full-time people are, that they really see that piece too. And right alongside that, so you want to be a supervisor meeting, is the shadow day and the opportunity to follow someone in that role and really understand what it is they do, see what they do, and maybe ask them questions that they may have never thought about that could help people like us do our jobs better. When someone who's never seen this and has fresh eyes asks us something that totally could upend how our own processes in a good way, or really challenge what we do. And I think that's really crucial. Abby, did you have anything else on the shadow day component?
I think something that is just an automatic, perfectly tie into the last one when we were talking about start, stop, continue, is have them do that too. So that's additional feedback you can take in at the end of the summer when you're looking at it and be like, oh, this person, ideally the person on a shadow day is someone who's somewhat familiar with your camp, maybe an alumni or whatever. So someone maybe who has a little bit of context, but also someone who is coming in pretty fresh and, having the ability to look through their eyes and being like, oh, this process that I would have put as keep doing this, this is going great, is actually in the stop category for them. So I want to know why. Why is this process that I think is working actually isn't working for them? Is it a personality thing? Could it be clearer? Or is it just this is how I operate and it makes sense to me, and it actually is not making sense to anyone else at camp?
Totally agree about that other perspective there, and having them add that voice to our feedback and giving us all the information we need to make informed decisions about the following years moving forward. Mm-hmm. One of the other scheduling pieces I want to add here is, again, we talked about shopping lists and mass emails, and I would just underscore that again. With the mass email piece, I want to be very specific about planning for what days your emails for those camps that open registration during the previous summer, that you have those ready to go, and those, when you're opening that, so that you have your application ready. Mm-hmm. And also your post-summer surveys schedule out, so that as soon as your first group of kids goes home, you've got that survey off to them and you can get the fresh feedback that you need, again, to make informed and smart decisions about the following summer.
Yeah.
So smart. Thank you. I kind of lost who started. Who wants to take on new initiatives and creations?
So new initiatives and creations, I think one tool that I'm really excited about is one I heard from Gabrielle Rail at Camp Oro a long time ago, but it's the Pocket Counselor. It is probably one of the smartest things I've ever heard from a director, where you just have all the information you're going through on staff training and you put it on little, they're even smaller than index cards, like business card size. And it's on a ring clip and you can just flip through. It has things like, what is the schedule? What are, procedures, policies, things like that. So smart, because you go through so much information on staff training week. It's impossible to expect folks to remember it all. And so they can have this that they can carry around. Something I want to do this year is give all my staff blank sheets that they can put in their pocket counselor. So they're writing their own notes during training and remembering additional things. So it just helps. It's one more way for all of that to stick into their minds. I think another thing that's really smart here is kit creation. So if you are like, for a rain day or whatever, you want to have a tie-dye kit that folks could do in your art room or whatever, just having all the supplies in like a Rubbermaid container or something that folks can just know, okay, I have this, it's all my supplies. You're not scrounging around for things. And then the art room's a mess. And then it creates problems. It minimizes and kind of reduces problems if you're prepared and have set things people can take, whether that's tie-dye, friendship bracelets, whatever, s'mores, thinking through those things.
And those supplies can all be ordered pre-summer and assembled by someone with a little bit of extra time during staff week. It does not need to be you. I'm sure there's someone available that can just take a couple of minutes and assemble those kits so that they're ready to go at a moment's notice when you need it, whether it's the tie-dye, the friendship bracelet, the birthday kit, whatever it is that you've got in your kits. In addition to the pocket counselor, I want to just highlight this really cool piece of curriculum that Dr. Aviva Levine-Jacobs at Camp Vermont, California adapted from something called the toolbox curriculum, which just has these different tools that you can use with your kids in moments of challenge of what it is that they need in a moment. And a lot of the staff wear these on their name tags there.
Smart. Super smart.
And then one other piece, again, under new initiatives and creations, bottom lines document. This is one of my favorite pieces to distribute. It is by no means exciting. It is by no means the most innovative piece of thing in camping, but it is a very clear one-page double-sided document that outlines these are the bottom line rules that we expect from staff during the full summer, and these are the things that you need to know moving forward. Yes, you might have a staff handbook that's way too many pages long. Here's the one-page distilled version of, know this, know doing these things, please do these things, please report these things. Here's how we create a great summer. And just having it easily understood in that short of a piece is important to make sure that everyone's on the same page.
Totally. That reminds me of one session we always did in staff training. We were huge believers in sessions should be creative. They should be, energetic and new and different things, but we'd have 1.5 hour session called How to Get Fired. And that's the, there's no song, there's no dance, there is just this. And these are our ultimates. And that'd be just the perfect match to your bottom line document for sure.
That's really smart. I love that title because I feel like the policies and procedures, they're like, maybe I'll just zone out for that half hour.
Sure.
And it's like, no, I don't want to get fired. I'm locked in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had a camp director years ago who used to bury a question in the staff handbook. And it said, while we're on this topic, go send camp director your favorite camp approved snack. And so he knew who read it, and every year it'd be in a different place. And then anyone who didn't read it had to sit back for like one extra, here's the staff handbook section of, and so like both he knew who read it or who knew to look directly for that thing. Yeah. And it created a way to reinforce making sure that you are looking through it.
Absolutely. That's the green M&M story.
Yes.
That Van Halen put no green M&Ms in their rider so that they could know that all of the very bottom line safety things were completed because they knew that people had read through all of the contract and checked off all the things. I love that. Just a little code to help out. That's good. So what about who you lean on?
Yeah. So I think when it comes to leaning on, just think through who are the people you can bring around you who can help you out with things. That could be staff, maybe, who, that's people who are interested in those supervisory roles. Maybe inviting them in and saying like, hey, if you have some extra time, you want to put together the kits that we talked about, things like that, inviting in staff like that, cross training, creating, I think we mentioned this maybe last podcast, but creating a spreadsheet and then listing out duties and then listing who else can be in charge of those duties, in case something happens, or even just, camp directors are often doing at a minimum 5 different things at one time. So, what's one thing I could pass off to you that you could do and I don't have to? I think another big thing is just outsourcing. What are the things that you're doing that you don't actually have to do? And yes, you might have to pay for it, but look at your time. Is it worth trading off your time to pay a little bit more each month for someone to do, manage your software better, or to come in and do some of that office work that is just keeping you from doing your mission and doing things that align with your values?
That person doesn't have to be at camp. That's the important part. Is totally. You could have someone offsite who's got some extra time, maybe it's 5 hours a week or whatever it is, and all they are doing is confirming the buses for you.
Right.
Like, think about what a relief that is to just take that off your plate.
Yeah.
And that's something so easy and so worth the expense.
And there are lots of camps that even have camper parents who do that they're interested in engaged parents who say, I want to help. I know camps that have had parents run their social media stuff. It depends on their skills and what your systems are. But yeah, being really smart about that.
And for those camps that are employing college-aged staff, some of them are getting off out of school, May 1, May 15, whatever it is. It's a whole month of time that they could come into your office and have an internship, see a little bit behind the curtain, get that shadowing experience, and help do the tasks that you might not just have the time for, but they do, and they can learn about this industry.
Yeah. Smart. It's out there for sure. The other thing I was going to say that ties into your piece, Abby, is I always encourage camp pros to have beside their monitor just somewhere what I call the VoIP number, the value of your time, so that you know what you cost camp per hour. Take your salary minus vacation and, divide it by the number of weeks and number of hours. And then that amount per hour. And, at some point, if you ever hear someone in camp say, well, I'm just going to learn WordPress and I'll build the website myself, then you need to scream at that person, because it is never less expensive for the camp for you to learn WordPress ever. And I know some very smart, very technically capable camp pros who have said that sentence to me, and they've still been at it 6 months later, sometimes years later.
Yeah.
So I hope you give yourself a bit of focus.
Yeah. And I know, I come from a small nonprofit perspective so for a really long time, that outsourcing, the idea of paying someone to do my tasks was really hard to swallow because I knew how small our budget was.
Yep. But
it is so true. Everything you pay to have someone who is more capable than you do something that they can do in less time,
faster, yeah,
worth it. So worth it.
What do you think about staff appreciation?
So I think a big thing on staff appreciation is kind of goes back to what we mentioned at the beginning, but just making sure people know they are seen, making sure people know that they are valued and they are not just a warm body that is keeping you in your safety quotas or whatever. I think planning how you're going to do that is really, really crucial, because every summer, no one goes and being like, I want to, I'm not going to make sure my staff knows they're appreciated or whatever.
Yeah.
But summer happens and you just forget to, do things. And then it comes time, maybe you have to give a critical feedback and you haven't done anything all summer to affirm this person. Then you give critical feedback and it's a situation, and just planning regular times where you're telling people, I saw you, I appreciate you, you're known here, this is valuable. And I hope, you're getting something out of this too. Just planning things to do for that is so important.
Staff activities are also so easy to, they're easy to do, But they're also really easy to forget about, and they go to the bottom of the list. And so if you just come up with, here are 4 back pocket things that we can do, I'm going to plug them in on these 4 Saturday nights of camp, and that's our good start. Great. I've got, we're going to have a barn Western theme thing, and we'll bring in a square dance collar, and that'll be our one big thing for the night. And then the next time we're going to have a 4th of July carnival, and we'll have some fireworks and churros and whatever else. Like, the little things that you can do to create a staff hangout space and a little bit of fun for them and give them the camp experience is also really important, to create that environment where they are able to be themselves without the worry about their job of, I've got all these kids to care for, and like find a way to give them that time to enjoy a staff activity. And it also might mean that you have someone on your staff whose job it is to plan for those.
Yeah, but if you're not lucky enough and you can't afford that job, then planning ahead makes those things possible. Yeah. And even if you have someone in that job, sometimes those things change midsummer. It is often a staff appreciation person who gets pulled in other directions.
Yes. Yeah. And I think something cool to train staff on too is just peer appreciation. So training them to see and acknowledge the things that their peers do well. We often tend to think of feedback in negative terms, but feedback is also positive. And so, not only planning from a supervisor level, when are you going to give feedback, but also training staff to be like, that was really cool what you did over there. Training them to affirm each other helps if that staff appreciation person, regardless helps, but especially if you don't have a staff appreciation person to designate, just bringing as many people around your staff as possible.
Yeah. I know it's been talked about on this pod many times before, the Make My Day book, and it's really easy to have that as a survey where you ask your staff, what are the ways that somebody can make your day for free, for $5, for $10, whatever it is. And like, what are the snacks that you like? What are the ways that you relax, whatever it is. And that anyone in camp can go look you up and say, oh, I want to go do something special for this person. This is their coffee order. I'm going to make a quick run out and grab it for them.
Love it. So smart. And our number 10 one,
So this is a fun one. And I want to preface this and say, this is not so much a tip, but this is a mindset for the summer. And I think it's really helpful. And this is something that I heard used many times coming from the Camper Ma network and world. And this comes from an old, traditional Jewish tale from Poland many years ago. And that it's adapted to camp, that we should live each day as if we're carrying a slip of paper in each pocket. And one of them reads, this is the most important job that I will ever have. And the other should read, it's summer camp, and know when to read which. And I think having that mindset going into this important work that we're doing over the next 121 days and over the next and over the summer really will help both keep us in that perspective that we need in this work and inspire us further to do the work that we need when we are in our tough moments.
That is a perfect wrap up on this. Thank you. A great spot to end it on. So if you want to review the top 10, check out our show notes at camphacker.tv/podcast. So thank you to you both. I'm really grateful. I'm going to take just a second now and thank UltraCamp. UltraCamp is the sponsor of CampHacker this season, and we're grateful to them for their support, their understanding of what Camp Pros needs, and their support so that we at Go Camp Pro can create stuff like this for Camp Pros around the world. CampHacker listeners can discover the 10 best marketing tools and tips that UltraCamp has put together by visiting their ultracampmanagement.com/camphacker address. There you can download their free guide, The Marketing Toolbox. When you feel like you spend so much time in the office that you don't get to spend time with campers or get to know your staff, appreciate your staff, as we've been talking about, the folks at UltraCamp know that you didn't get into this job to sit at your desk and run reports. So they created the software to help you efficiently and quickly get your registration, your reports done quickly so that you can get out there and do the big changes that you want to do in the world. So when you use UltraCamp, there are no limits on what you can report or how often you can get those insights or advice from the data. With UltraCamp, you can get unlimited custom reports, unlimited support, unlimited training, and you can have unlimited users use that so you can delegate some of that work. UltraCamp's goal is to provide the best resources so their clients can spend more time in camp doing what they do best. If this all doesn't sound like your registration software, don't you think it should? Visit UltraCamp's website at ultracampmanagement.com/CampHacker and set up a time to chat. They look forward to hearing from you. Now we are going to move us on to our tool of the week.
Tool of the week.
So we've asked our co-hosts to bring something that helps them or could help others be a better camp director. I'm going to go first this time. I have a funny tool that I think it came from Ruby. I don't even know where this came. I just know that I included it in my Tool of the Week newsletter. And and I was like, I really needed this at some point. It is called the Uprooter. It is a tool for doing cleanup around camp, for making paths, whatever it is. It's a tool that helps you produce leverage on small trees and bushes to pull them up out of the ground. So it's using levers to make that. You go to camphacker.tv/podcast, look at this episode 163 to find all of our tools. You'll see the link there if you can't remember Uprooter. But just a great tool for some of those manual jobs that get stuck when you're clearing some land for a new program or just keeping your trails going. It's a great looking tool for that. Ari, what's your tool?
My tool is Adam Grant's Instagram and Twitter account. I really appreciate Adam Grant, who is this fantastic author, and he just dispenses these little nuggets of wisdom frequently, I think almost daily, actually, on his Instagram account. And I have a folder that I save the ones that I feel could be useful for me, both to just remember personally, or that will be staff training components at some point in a saved folder on Instagram. And I just really appreciate all of what he has to offer in that space.
Yeah, it's very smart. Thanks, Ari. Abi?
Yes, so my tool of the week is a website. It's called GoZen, Z-E-N. And it is a website dedicated to creating tools for helping social emotional learning in youth. There's a free newsletter you can sign up for, and it is worth it. All the printables and the tips they've sent me so far have been almost like immediately applicable. And I'm like, that is so smart. Why didn't I think of that? And so highly recommend checking them out, seeing their free resources as well as some of their paid things.
That's a great one. Thank you. Before we say goodbye, I want to take a second and shout out another Go Camp Pro podcast. I am watching the work that is being done in the First Class Counselors show. It is the perfect show for you to give to your staff. It is built by Matt and Oliver for camp directors to give to their staff. Like, here's a lesson about this. You can pick and choose from dozens of episodes and listen to them, decide what helps. It's just one of those great, once a week, send them a link to another show. Don't say, listen to First Class Counselors, the bulk. Just instead, send them one episode a week. Just a quick reminder about, here's the thing that I heard. It's a great show for that. So that's my recommendation. Check out the First Class Counselor show and send it to your staff. Thank you both. And I'm so grateful that, again, you've come up and said, hey, we've got a great idea and we've already got it planned. I appreciate you being the kind of pros that share this kind of thing, that think about other people doing this job. And so grateful to have you both here.
Yeah,
Thank you
for providing the space.
Awesome. So if you want to hear or reach out to, if you want to reach out to Abi or Ari, go to camphacker.tv/podcast. You can find the show notes, how to get in touch with them. I want to thank you all for listening. Please do share this episode if it's helpful with your other camp director friends. And thanks for the evening, friends.
The Camp Hacker podcast is brought to you by Beth and Travis Allison, summer camp leadership training and marketing consultants. Thanks for listening.
CampHacker, bringing your world into focus.
Hey Camp Pros, we love that our industry is built on sharing. In order to foster that spirit, we hope that whenever you share an idea that you learned from the CampHacker podcast, conference, summer camp professionals group, or wherever else, that you're quick to give credit where credit is due. That way, we can all encourage more Camp Pros to share the tips and tricks that will make camp better.
Hey, it's Travis. Camp directors often tell me they're just too tired to take on anything new. That's exactly why my free Resilient Camp Blueprint Diagnostic exists. It doesn't add work, it shows you progress. Quick, free, repeatable, you'll know if your systems are paying off without the guesswork. Try it today at camp.mba/Travis. That's camp.mba/Travis.